Paul, one of the things that you got involved in a little bit was the HPC reform, especially when Volt became a hot-button issue in terms of people talking about how they felt that there wasn't common sense used in that decision there in terms of them wanting to put their signage up there. And you have presented some options to the city to look at and possibly take action on.
Yeah, well, in August, I floated something at a workshop proposing to deal with perhaps signage on windows. We looked at several other things and got some feedback. One thing you learned is it's a very touchy issue. But now, 2 months later, some of the dust has died. There are a lot of HPC issues that are important in the community, but it's clear to me that we could make a little tweak. We could, in the code, we could say that the HPC does not have authority to regulate lettering on windows or perhaps even signage on the interior of buildings. I don't think that would jeopardize any of our the minor funding we get from the state. And when you look around at the different windows, it's pretty arbitrary anyway. There are all sorts of things that are inside stores that you know, to begin to regulate that, I think, is just prone with problems. I think we should do that, and I think that would help. That will not answer many other issues that people have, but because it became an issue with the mayor who wasn't enforcing it to the liking of some people, if there really is a problem, let's fix it. So let's vote on it and then go on from there.
You hear a lot of people talking taxes. You know, a lot of folks I've interviewed taxes, and you know, the fact is, you know, a lot of them say, well, we're not going to raise taxes. Well, you all voted twice to decrease the property tax rate, and of course, you know, the assessable base, when that goes up, when properties are reassessed, there's generation of additional tax dollars there. You all looking in this cycle, probably a lot of properties are going to get assessed down. And you're going to have to deal with that whole issue in this next budget cycle.
Exactly. I think that is one of the most important issues because you're right. Even though we cut the tax rate 2 of the 4 years,
sure,
the taxes actually increased a little bit. And we cannot be content with that.
And I don't think a lot of people understand how it works. You know, your property's assessed, and that's what you're taxed on. And you know, we've been fortunate because there's been a lot of growth, so assessments have been going up. You guys, and when I say you guys, the city is going to be caught in a cycle here when they get reassessed. A lot of them are probably going to be assessed down, which means some people are going to see breaks in their tax bill, even though there's not a break in the property tax. But on the other end, you're going to have to deal with less revenue.
Well, you know, that's why I mentioned earlier the vote on the COLAs, where I voted against that, was the lone vote.
Yeah.
But because if you're going to deal with this, you're going to have to make some hard votes against things that are good. And another one where I believe I was the lone vote was we have a shared use path through Frederick, which is a great idea, and we had a vote on this to fund the building of this path under US 15 at the Rosemont Avenue exit. And then the path was going to go west of there within a tunnel under the exit ramp. It was a $900,000 tunnel. And because of that, I voted against that. I said that's almost $1 million. We just can't have that with the limited funds. We would have to instead let the people cross over that exit ramp, you know, like pedestrians and bikes. But there are many decisions like that where we are going to have to, as a group, vote. We just can't do it. You can't have everything you want.
Well, and then you all do have the issue of where the county has, you know, kind of been formed with you all. First, tax equity, and now with their stance and opinions on the annexations.
Yeah. The tax equity is a very big one, and a number of people are addressing this. It would be nice if we get a remedy at the state level, and I think that's, frankly, the only way we can really fix it. We could have overcome a couple of little problems last time, but you know, on the city level, at the last minute, we have funds pulled from us, so it's very hard for budgeting. So I anticipate we'll continue to have some of those problems. Now, the tax equity is also interesting because the theory behind it is that the county is giving us funds, for example, for police, that otherwise the county would have had to spend for the sheriff's office. And if they keep doing this, we don't have a lot of choices. This is why the police are going to come into the budget debate again, because if the county keeps pulling these funds that could be used for these services, what are we going to do? People want their minimal services, and something's got to give.
Annexations.
Yeah.
Of course, they had an opinion on that also.
Yes.
And you wrote a letter to the paper.
I wrote, yeah. And I think the most important thing on that is I certainly did my research on that and my homework. And in the long run, these annexations will get substantial monetary benefits for the building of infrastructure. I estimate $8 to $10 million on roads that we would not otherwise get, only through the annexation process where these people want to pay to come in. And the planning is such that what will go next to US 15 on either side will be employment campuses that can be beautifully landscaped and where we have the opportunity to bring in employers of the caliber of IBM or Bechtel or something like that can allow our people to work at home instead of having to go down the road. So I think that's a long-term win, and I really think it was a smart decision.
All right, we have about 30 seconds left talking with Alderman Paul Smith. Alderman, if someone's undecided right now, give them your pitch of why they should vote for you if they're a Republican tomorrow in the primary for a second term.
Well, I certainly have 4 years more experience than I otherwise would have had, and plus, when I bring my legal experience to the plate here, it's just a lot that I can offer. And those who've seen me in operation, I think will say that I not only bring the understanding and analysis and the ability and the practice of having asked the hard questions, but just handling it in a respectful way so that the city image is actually raised by my participation.
All right. Again, your website?
cpaulsmith.com, www.cpaulsmith.com.
All right, Paul, I want to thank you for coming in and talking with us.
Hey, thanks, Blaine.
All right, we're going to take a quick